My dad works in B2B marketing, but I never really knew what that meant. Then one day my dad came by my school for career day and told everyone in my class he was a big ROAS man. Then he just kept saying things like, the bigger the ROAS, the better, over and over. My friends still laugh at me to this day. I think it means calculating a return on ad spend. One thing's for sure, I'll be known as the ROAS man's kid for the rest of my days. Why couldn't you just be a fireman or a lawyer? Why? You ruined my life, Dad.
Not everyone gets B2B, but LinkedIn has the people who do. And with ads on LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people based on job title, industry, likelihood to buy, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I'm your host, as always, Seth. Today, I'm here with Joshua Lamothe. Lamothe, or is it French and is like Lamothe?
It's Lamothe. It's like a French insect. That's the way I say it. Lamothe.
Lamothe. Oh, oui, no.
Exactly.
There you go. So Joshua and I met on Alignable. He is what we call a web head of sorts. I mean, he only runs the webhead consortium of people, which is kind of cool. He has a very story here, which we'll get into, but he's been doing web design and digital marketing for as long as I have, pretty much. I think you said in your bio, you say 15 years. I've been doing it for 16, so 1 year more.
It's about that. Yeah, 15, 16 maybe now.
Isn't it kind of scary to think, wait, I've been doing this for this long? Like, what the heck?
It's one of those things where you look and you go, time feels weird because, yeah, on one hand, I'm still the same guy I was struggling to figure things out then, and now I'm doing the same thing.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I look back and go, man, but a lot has changed. You know,
A lot has
grown a
changed in our
business, grown a
industry.
family.
So Joshua is the chief bottle washer at Grassroots Consulting. So similar to Goldstein Media, he does web design and digital marketing for small businesses and solo practitioners. But you have an interesting origin story. Before we got on the call, you said you were started out in the diamond industry in New York.
Well, I got out of college with a degree in marketing communications and thinking I was going to do advertising. And I never really was into website building at that point. I never was formally trained. And I ended up taking an internship with my friend whose family formerly owned a mine in a part for precious gemstones. And then they ultimately owned a diamond company, a wholesale diamond company. And I found myself sort of like learning how to market and sell some of the rarest gemstones on the planet. And
rarest. Let's be honest with diamonds. Diamonds are not that rare. I knew you were going
to say that. I was literally reading your mind. I was about to say, so I was selling natural color diamonds. Some of them are actually truly rare. And so, yeah, I was really dealing with some of the rarest gems and trying to figure out how to market and sell.
Yeah.
And we put one of the first websites in this industry online. I was sort of part of building it. And I kind of got this bug of like, I want to build brands for businesses and help them to put their stuff online so they can reach a wider audience. And that's how it kind of connects a bit to when I left that industry and jumped into my own thing.
Yeah.
It came from that. I wanted to help businesses use online tools and websites and things like that to create brand and messaging and systems and just help them connect with their customers, especially at a local level in their community.
Absolutely. Yeah. So systems, a lot of small businesses don't have systems in place. A lot of them are like, oh, I build a website on Wix or whatever. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Wix. But they're like, we build a website, we're good. And then they go out of business in 4 months because they don't have the systems in place. They don't know how to market their website. They don't know how to use their website to market their business. It's amazing what small businesses don't know and what we need to help them with.
Yeah, they don't see it as a tool oftentimes. No. They don't see it as, it can be basically a salesperson for you. If you want to even just think of it at a basic level, it's working whenever you are and whenever you're not. It's talking to customers if it's done right, talking very well to them. It's getting them to take an action. It's bringing them to you and hopefully leading to a sale of some kind.
Yeah.
And so if you have systems and treat it like a little bit of a process, to get you there as a tool, not to
Yeah.
mention all kinds of other things you can integrate, um, you see it differently. And that's, I think, what I always try to help my clients realize is, this is not about just you need a website, check it off the list. This is a key element of your business practice.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Christy Heiler hosts a fantastic podcast called Own It. Christy, tell us more about the show.
Own It is all about celebrating women and non-binary advertising agency owners. We talk about buying out of the boys' club of advertising because less than 1% of ad agencies are owned by women.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find the podcast at untilyouownit.com. We're also on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net. And of course, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, obviously, to me, I do the same similar things. It is very much a salesperson if you use it that way. If anything, it's a brochure of what you do, and it shows some legitimacy, which is what I think a lot of people don't realize, is that if your website looks like poop, people are going to think of you as poop. They're going to think this guy didn't take it seriously, that kind of thing.
It's the first impression thing. I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, I open up most of my talks by saying, your website may be the first impression they have of you before actually interacting with you. And if it looks, if it's broken, if it's messy, if it's unclear, it reflects on your business. And there are lots of choices out there. And many people don't consider how many people have possibly interacted with them, and then they just bounce, and you never know.
You'll never know. You'll never know. And then you'll never know until you find out one day that the reason why someone went with you was because of X on your website.
Yeah, and typically if you start building your things around that, you see your conversions go up, and then you realize, wow, all I did was, I mean, I've had countless projects where we just gave a facelift to it, and all of a sudden it's like the traffic was there. They were just so turned off by what they were seeing. I have had some within a day or two, the contact forms, which were not working, they were functioning, they just weren't delivering contacts. Started getting leads because people were finding their site and probably going like, this doesn't look legit, and getting off, where now they were like, this looks great. And then
let's convert, let's reach out to Joe or Bob or Cindy, about their product and stuff. It's amazing how people don't realize, like, everyone's like, oh, I can build a website. Yeah, great. You can build a website. Great. But, is it run fast? Is it maintained properly? Is it spelled correctly? I mean, everyone finds the spelling correction every once in a while on their website. Even the best copywriters, I find, there'll be a mistake somewhere, and you go fix it. That's not a big deal. We're talking about like big time mistakes, like pages that just don't connect. And
broken links, forms that don't work. I've had people come to me and say, I always check people's forms when I go in to look at their site, and sometimes I'll say, I just tested your form; it's not even working, and they don't even know it. And it's like, how many hundreds of clients could you have missed because they tried and failed? So you need to treat it, it's like a car, you need to give it a little bit of maintenance and give it a tune up every now and then, and test things, and don't just leave it sitting there expecting it's a deal break and make
not
a
once and done thing. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize, is that websites are not a once and done thing. SEO is definitely not a once and done thing. And it's crazy. So Grassroots Consulting has been around for 15 years, right after your exodus from the diamond industry. And so what have you found? I mean, so you worked for the man or the person, we'll be politically correct here, the person, and then you left and then went on your own 15 years ago. Have you done any stints with the person since then, or has it just been one up and down ride?
I've been pretty much solo. I had a friend of mine who sold advertising sales, like door to door.
Oh wow!
So he had a collection of customers, and they were not doing, their company that he was working for was not doing web design. So some of his personal customers, he was able to say, would you like to do some web work and then give me the business? So I was able to actually sort of get off the ground through his help initially.
Thank you,
First, I
buddy.
started outsourcing, yeah, but then I started outsourcing, and I was like, I think I can do this better.
Yeah.
And has driven me this whole time to be very independent and do a lot of it myself because I care. I don't know if that's a simple answer, but it's like I actually care. And sometimes I found that when you outsource it, they're not as connected to the client or the product as
Yeah.
you may be. And I put a lot of heart and soul into my work, and for what it's worth. And
Is it
but
just you?
yeah,
Or are you still a solo prac, or is it you and a few people? Or
uh, I have, but basically an independent model, but I have partners that I work on
yeah,
depending
that's
on the
why
needs,
I did
So
Philosophy.
I like that. Yeah, I haven't quite coined what it is, but it's a loose agency model where,
Yeah, that's
we
what
have
I do.
contract work with each other, and it's great. It allows me to, do what I love to do and not do what I don't love to
And
do,
you can
but I can do
scale
both,
up. And the
and I
key
can
is that you can,
scale.
like, the first thing you sit there, you're like, well, I'm doing it all. I'm like, well, how are you going to scale that sucker? You need to have some bandwidth, some people that you can pull from to say, hey, I got this gig. I need some help on this, or I don't have time to do all of the development myself. Can you jump in and help me out with this project?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's part kind of what I am starting with this other brand that you mentioned at the beginning, which are called the Webheads, which is
Yeah.
basically the idea is, we need reliable partners. So if
Yeah.
we can kind of form an alliance that we can lean on each other, get a referral, get advice,
Yeah.
see who can jump on a task project, and just help us out, and we trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
what I need to be a part of. So I'm trying to build it because I want it.
If you
But
build
again,
it,
there's
they
that
will come.
independent
Yeah.
spirit. It's that independent. It's like if I need it, I'm going to build it around me because I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there's lots of opportunities out there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so but it's a need out there. It's I think people like us. There's a lot of people in this industry entering the market, basically saying, "Yeah, I know how to do this, that, and the other thing," and they don't really have the experience. And when it
Exactly.
comes down to it, can you really trust them? Are they reliable? Are
Mm-hmm.
they here today, gone tomorrow?
Well, that's the
I don't
worst.
intend to go anywhere. You're not going anywhere if you can
No,
help it,
I
right?
hear such horror stories of web designers that, like, hold websites hostage, or don't give,
Yes.
or they, like, one tip I'll give people who are listening: buy your domain name on your own. Own your damn domain name. Don't let them
If
buy your
nothing
domain
else.
name for you. Like hosting, you can lose your site, but if you lose your domain name, then you're up S's Creek right there. So
Yeah, and that's a good example of why, you might have someone just getting started and say, "Oh, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." And it's like, "Well, where's your site files? Where's your email? Where's your host? Where's your domain? Where's it all?" I don't even know what that is. Well,
I
this is the
love
kind of
this
stuff we need to
client. I
educate,
feel so bad for this clients, but I love this clients because it's like, all right, let's get you untangled. Let's figure this out. And
They're
like,
my bread and butter.
yeah,
They're my bread and butter. I feel bad, but I'm also grateful at the same time because somebody's got to do it. You
it's
know
a
what I mean? And
challenge, and it's a challenge. It's like literally
it's a challenge.
one of those little things that they have at, like, inns in the Poconos or something like that, or inns in Vermont, where there's little chain link puzzles,
Yeah,
and you
this
try
is what
to
it is.
undo the keys and make it so undo goes into one fell swoop. Very bad analogy,
I
but
know
you know
what
what
you
I'm
mean.
talking about.
I got what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, you've got elements that are workable and elements that are not. Elements are known, elements are not. You got to put it all together and say, where can we start and what can
Yeah,
we do and get them back in control, I think is part of it
absolutely.
too. That's a big part of it is when they don't feel like they have control
Yeah,
and they're asking for changes and changes are not getting done.
it's the
Now it's like,
worst.
yeah, they're going to go and tell everybody to go there. They're embarrassed. They don't want anybody to see it. That's not
Yeah,
good in business. You want to be sharing this stuff like you love it,
yeah.
you know?
It's okay. So in your mind, since you've been doing this as long as I have, independently, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
I have a level of freedom that I think is unparalleled. I mean, I
Mhm.
there's trade-offs, there's pros and
Oh,
cons, but you
it's a
know what?
roller coaster too.
I don't have to ask my boss for permission. I don't have to, if I want to take a break, I'll take a break. If I want to take a day off, I'll take a day off. I'm accountable to my clients, and
Yeah.
there's nothing like that, in my opinion. I
Yes.
hope I can stay this way forever. I hope other people can do it. That's why I love helping independent businesses because I want a world where there's more and more individual entrepreneurs doing what they
We're the
love.
backbone of the economy, as much as people don't want to
Yeah,
admit it, that kind of
it's
thing.
true, and we are essential, and corporations are not sustainable the way that small businesses, and maybe that's why I do what I do at the end of the day is because I care about that. But
Mhm. So
Yeah, for
going down the
myself.
flip side, what's the scariest thing about being an entrepreneur?
Oh my, you don't really know
Mm-hmm.
what tomorrow brings. Imagine you have like, okay, it's Thursday. I spent all my money. Okay, well, next week I'm going to get my paycheck and I can, right? We might be in a position where it's like, I don't know what's coming next
Oh,
so that I can make that work,
yes.
and there are degrees of that, and it's not always like you're in poverty. I'm just saying you might be like, I just took on a big office expense and now the project just fell through that I was counting for 6 months. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know that
And now
feeling.
what?
Yeah, I
That
know
kind
that
of
feeling.
stuff. Yeah, that's where it gets rough. But if you got to take risks and reward, I know there's ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good family that supports what I do and
Tolerates it at
and
least.
yeah, where my wife's also an independent entrepreneur of some
Oh,
sort. So we're
really?
sort of
Oh,
both, yeah, we're
wow.
just we're just sort of, making
Oh,
it
you
work
guys are
that way.
brave. You're both doing the independent stuff.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you
living
build her
on the edge,
website at
but
least?
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Good husband. Good
that's
husband.
for sure.
And you built a
Yeah.
nice website for her, right? The best one out there.
She loves it. Others love it. Great positive feedback.
Good.
Yes, I put my heart
Happy
into that.
wife, happy life. Exactly.
You got it.
And does
You
your
got it.
kid, I know you have one kid, do they have their own website yet?
No, no, she asked me to come into career day and I didn't, and I forgot and I didn't do it. But I would be talking about websites to kids and I'm thinking, man, I probably should have done that because
I
she
buy my
doesn't, I'm
kids the
trying to
name.
teach her. I don't, I'm like, it would be great if she could like when she's a teenager, like just I could just throw tasks to her to practice. I'm like, that would be nice, a little in-house assistant who's
Yeah.
learning. But I
In-house
also know that like
assistant.
sometimes they're not interested in at all what you do.
Yeah,
So you gotta like,
my kid had a phase. He's 11. He had a phase where he was like he wanted a website, and I had his full name as a website. I got a short one that was like Alon.ninja because why not? He thought that was cool. He built
someone's got
on
to buy
it,
the
and
product.
then like he was done with it. So I'm like, all right, we'll let it lapse. He didn't need it anymore. That kind of thing. So here's a question for you: what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Integrity.
Oh, I love that. Good one. I was about to say you can go as woo woo as you want, but you want woo woo, so that's good.
Well, yeah, it's kind of woo woo. It's like on the cusp. Well,
It's on the cusp of woo woo. I like that.
kind of. I mean, it's something that's I think important to have. You could
Absolutely,
argue
especially in our
whether
industry when there's a lot of not a lot of
and it's
integrity.
measurable and real. You can tell. So it's not that way. Like I can say I have spirituality. Well, do I or don't I? But if I have integrity, it's like, did I show up on time to this call? Did I do what I said I was going to do? Did I deliver on time?
Mhm.
Would I honor my word? That's measurable stuff,
It is
you know?
absolutely. I believe
So
that
that's
fully.
kind of why I like to try to carry that around with me because if I stray too far from that, I'm in trouble.
You're in deep doo doo. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Joshua, where can people find you online? Where's your big watering hole?
My main source is my own website because why not? Practice what I preach. My
Yeah.
website is Grassroots Consult, CONSULT, grassrootsconsult.com. And you can go ahead and book a call with me if you want to have a consultation about how I can improve your web presence or just want to talk
Yeah.
and hang out for 30 minutes.
Exactly. And it was ing taken.
It was taken and
Yeah, I
it's
hate when
taken
that
by a
happens.
lower quality company at the time. I was a little embarrassed. I was like, how many people are going there?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get it since then?
No, it's still it's still around. They're
Oh.
like a major consulting firm, but maybe I'll get some of their business someday.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes they leave
Maybe
off
I have.
ing.
I don't know. Who knows?
You
Yeah.
don't know. Exactly, buddy. Well, Joshua, this has been so great to have you on. And
Thanks
we'll
for having
see
me.
everyone next time. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Theme Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.